Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is the English translation of the Majlis of Hazrat Maulana Qamar Uzzaman Saheb Damat Barakatuhum, which took place on Monday, the 5th of Muharram 1445, corresponding with the English date 24th of July 2023. This Majlis took place after the Asr Salat at the house of Mauli Abbas Nadwi at Darbagam, Palwama, Kashmir. Hazrat Wala has the kitab or the risala in front of him, Asharu Qawaid fi Tazkiyatin Nufus. Hazrat Wala is saying it is a kitab of an Arab alim. We got together and we translated this particular kitab. A person should not keep himself free or leave himself free. Rather, hasibu qabla an tuhasabu. Take a reckoning of yourself before you would be reckoned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, reckon yourself. Take a stock of yourself before that time comes when you stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, the mashayikh paid particular attention and attached great importance, ahmiyat, to this muhasaba. In the Khanqa, the Hazrat Wala is saying, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab called us and he told this to us, that तुम लोग जो तरक्की, तुम लोग में जो तरक्की नहीं हो रही है, इस बिना पर कि तुम मुहासबा आमाल नहीं करते हैं. This that you people are not making progress, it is because you do not make muhasaba and muraqaba. You do not take a stock of yourself. Even a sick person, he takes some medication and himself he takes a stock. He starts seeing, am I feeling better or not? The doctor himself takes a reckoning or sees to the patient that I gave him this, is it working or is it not? However, on this side here, when we look at it, there is so much of ghaflat and we just carrying on just like that. So hasibu, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself made muhasaba and took a stock of himself and a reckoning of himself. Now the Buzurgs, this is a muttafaqa faisla. This is a unanimous principle of theirs, that before going to bed at night, a person contemplates and he thinks that what good have I done for the day or what wrong have I done for a day. He takes stock of himself. So here, after explaining these 10 principles which will assist a person in rectifying and purifying himself, his nafs, it becomes clear that the nafs needs constant supervision as long as it is in this world of respite and action before man and insan stands in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of Qiyamah, and before he disregards the rectification of his self, which then becomes the cause of his destruction. Now the pious people used to remind themselves, they used to remind people and advise them of the need to take stock of the nafs and rectify it before the opportunity passes and before death descends. So here Hazrat Wala is saying that I just want to go through this muhasaba and type of a muraqaba of Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala an. So yeah, Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala an himself used to get hold of his tongue. He used to grip his tongue with his fingers and say that you have taken me to the places of destruction. You have brought me to the brink of destruction. Now, was this not a muhasabah? In solitude, this is exactly what he used to do. But today, we are completely negligent about this here, and it is for this reason we are not progressing. This kitab I'm reading from is a fantastic kitab, Dastur Salikin. This is my last kitab, Dastur Salikin. لقرب رب العالمين. This dastur and manual for the seekers. Why? All in the name لقرب رب العالمين, so that they can get closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala is saying, اعلموا عباد الله, O servants of Allah, know well أنكم تغدون وتروحون في أجل قد غيب عنكم علمه. That, O people, O servants of Allah, know well that you are spending your mornings and evenings in a life whose knowledge is concealed from you. فَإِنِ اسْتَطَعْتُمْ أَن تَنْقَضِيَ الْآجَالِ وَأَنْتُمْ فِي عَمَلِ اللَّهِ فَافْعَلُوا. And then he says this, and take this lesson. If you can spend your lives doing good for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then do it. Then do it. Appreciate life. Allah give us the tawfiq and the hidayat of appreciating our life. Allah has given us the zindagi. You know, I don't say this about, मैं किसी किताब के बारे में नहीं कहता हूँ. I don't say this about any kitab. लेकिन ये किताब, this kitab of minds, you should go through it. Even though I can tell you straight about this, the mazameen and the articles here are that of others, but I have put it together and it is here. I am reading it out to you. You know, we speak about the High Court and these top lawyers that go there and fight the cases of their clients. On one occasion, Hazrath Wala is saying that this wakil, this lawyer comes, he is in grief, is in distress. He's absolutely worried. He's pacing up and down. And then I engage him in conversation and ask him that what's the matter. So he says that I am going to the High Court. But I say to him that, but you the wakil, you're not the mujrim, you're not the criminal. You're representing someone and presenting their case. So he goes on to say, lekin हाई कोर्ट में जज के सामने खड़े होने कोई मामूली बात नहीं है. That in the high court to stand in front of the judge is no simple ordinary thing. It's absolutely difficult. So then I said, and I remarked, Hazrat Wala is telling us here, listen to this. Then तो फिर अल्लाह ताला के सामने खड़े होने में डर नहीं लगता है? Then are we not fearing? Are we not looking at this example and thinking about ourselves? What about that day when we're going to stand in the highest of all courts, in front of the greatest of all kings, Allah Rabbul Izzat. وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَى. The one who fears standing in front of Allah and he prevents his nafs from its desires. فَإِنَّ الْجَنَّةَ هِيَ الْمَأْوَى. Then Jannah will then be his abode. So this fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is a fundamental amal and point. So Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala an, in Tanhai, alone, he was the most celebrated individual of this ummah. Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala holding the highest rank. He is holding his tongue, addressing himself, taking a reckoning of himself, stock taking, addressing himself, rebuking himself, saying, you have brought me to the brink of destruction. Allah ta'ala give us the tawfiq and the hidayat of making amal on the ta'limat of these buzrugan deen. Meyare ikar, baseh ast. The foundation of this matter of ours is restricted in three: Kitabullah, wa Sunnat Rasul, wa Sirat Salaf. It is the Quran and the Hadith. But how will you practice on the Quran and the Hadith? You would have to look closely and deeply into the lives of the saintly pious predecessors and see how they lived Quran and Hadith. Look at this example and you would be able to understand this muhasabah which Quran and Hadith teaches us about, taking a reckoning of ourselves, having fear of standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala an shows us by means of his sirat and his life perfectly in the way that he lived this year. We look at it. Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah performs the Isha Salat in congregation. The Imam recites Surah Zilzal, and after the namaz, the Imam Sahib then goes to his chamber, but Imam Abu Hanifa holds his beard and continuously repeats these ayats, the same ayats which the Imam repeated and recited in his salat. فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. That, O Zat, O that Supreme Being, O Allah, that will reward a person for the atom amount of good that he had done, and he will punish that person for the atom amount of evil that he had done. That person will yara, he will see that tomorrow on the day of Qiyamah. Now, wasn't that the hal and spiritual state of Imam Abu Hanifa, that he wept to that extent? And he was so deeply affected when he heard the Kalam-e-Pak recited. So, Shah Wasiullah Sahib, his andaz and his style, he would go on to say that, sirf aqwal ke muqallid rahoge. Will you only continuously remain just to be like how you are now and only be a muqallid and a follower of Imam Abu Hanifa just in his statements? Are you just going to stay there? Ahwal ke muqallid kab banoge? When will you eventually come out of that? Together with that, go to the next level and start becoming his follower in his spiritual state. So this was his khas tarz, his style and his andaz. Logo to muqallid hai, masail ke, ahwal. When we come on to the ahwal, when we come on to the ahwal and the spiritual state of these pious and saintly people, it is then that we can call ourselves the muqallids and the true followers of these great imams of jurisprudence. Nevertheless, the entire kitab is, like this year, so full of waz and nasiyat. And also, let us not restrict only to the zahir, but together with that, the batin as well, as I explained to you, the ahwal. And this is actually the true essence and the meaning of sunnah, is to follow Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his aqwal, in his af'al, and in his ahwal, in his statements. That is the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the actions that he done, and his hal and his spiritual state as well. So Allah Ta'ala give us and the tawfiq and the hidayat of becoming muqallid, followers in the true sense, completely and perfectly in aqwal, in af'al, and in ahwal. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم بحرمة سيد النبي الكريم صلى الله عليه وسلم.